A WWE superstar's return is now canceled due to some contract issues. They could potentially be on the way out of the company. Also, some great news for TNA Genesis outselling AEW. And we are going to talk about some debut plans for a TNA star who is crossing over the line into WWE. And it's all coming up right here on The Ango Show. Okay, everybody, I want to kick things off with TNA Genesis. This is just really exciting news for a variety of reasons. But TNA Genesis is doing they did some really good stuff there with their ticket sales. And we don't talk a lot about TNA ticket sales being the smaller company. But of course, we should mention whenever they have some success. And we've done that with Bound for Glory and Slammiversary. But TNA Genesis sold over 4,032 tickets to TNA Genesis pay-per-view. And what's actually really, really crazy is that according to WrestleTix, if you do the math, last week's Dynamite and last week's Collision combined actually did not sell more than TNA Genesis, which is like a really good thing. And I'm not saying this to bash AEW. There's a little bit of a different strategy there, but I think we should pay attention to TNA and look at the growth that they're having. And the fact that they were able to sell over 4,000 tickets to a PLE. This is a company for a very long time. They've been struggling. And TNA in the past year, 2024, it was kind of like their uprising. It was, filled with momentum. And Scott D'Amore left. And a lot of people questioned what would happen to this company. Would they be able to sell tickets? This is fascinating. This is truly fascinating. To outsell Dynamite and Collision is truly great work. And again, this isn't a knock towards AEW. I think people are going to look for me to knock that, but there's obviously a different strategy. Like TNA was trying to sell more tickets. Obviously, AEW wasn't trying to. But I think the fact that TNA, being a smaller company, is able to do that kind of stuff just goes to show you that their momentum is working in their favor. Now, granted, is TNA going to do this for every episode of TV or every pay-per-view? No, I don't think so, right? I think this is part of growing and building your brand and getting back on track. But I'm definitely proud to see that they were able to have that kind of success. And, in comparison to AEW, it's a good thing, right? It goes to show you that the third largest wrestling company in North America, they're doing some relatively good stuff. So now the conversation shouldn't just be about WWE and AEW, but TNA should be more in that conversation as well. And I think, when you look at TNA doing this partnership with NXT, I think we're going to see a bigger upstick and ticket sales, which is obviously huge. This is what we want, right? We want TNA to grow. We want them to get a TV deal. We want them to be successful, just like we want AEW and WWE to be. Part of that is selling tickets. That brings us to our next topic, Jordynne Grace. Now, we can't talk about selling tickets for TNA and then not admit that one of their top stars is leaving the company, right? We know Jordynne Grace is leaving the company, but nobody really knows exactly what WWE's plan is. Okay, so now it's come out, right? And this is where I start to giggle a little bit. I start to laugh a little bit. Maybe I get a little frustrated here because I don't know if Jordynne Grace will be in NXT, but the word going around is that she will in fact be debuting as part of the main roster when it comes to the WWE Royal Rumble. She is expected to be a notable surprise in the Women's Royal Rumble. The belief is, this is obviously huge, right? WrestlingNews.co is reporting that the belief is that she's WWE bound, as she's obviously made appearances for WWE. PWInsider.com has reported that Grace was at the Performance Center yesterday. They were told that she was not expected to be there for the rest of the week. However, it was said that the belief is that she will be competing in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Obviously, TNA has now removed her from their roster online. WWE has yet to announce that Jordynne Grace has signed. Do they do this as a surprise? What do they do? The good thing about this is that Jordynne Grace has been on WWE programming before, so there's obviously a lot of things that they can say or a lot of things they can do to promote that. But listen, Jordynne Grace being on the main roster, it's a must. NXT's women's division is stacked. They don't have an issue there. I'm watching Raw. I think the women's division on Raw is absolutely terrible right now. Rhea Ripley needs credible performers to go against. They need to build up that mid-card. They need to build up that main event scene on Raw. SmackDown and NXT don't have that issue. Jordynne Grace should go into the Royal Rumble, be in the Final Four, maybe the Final Three, maybe even the Final Two. Whoever eliminates her, that should be her program that begins on Raw. That's the way I would do it. Jordynne Grace is going to be a big hit for the WWE. She's going to be massively successful for the WWE. I look forward to seeing what she does in the WWE. I like the debut plans of her being in the Royal Rumble and starting her career there, because whoever eliminates her, that's their ideal program, which there's a lot of people that, you know, can eliminate her, and that could be like a credible heel. I think maybe even watching Shayna Baszler be the one to screw Jordynne Grace would be really nice. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Jordynne Grace. I'm super curious to see what WWE does. But also, it's not just about how you debut somebody. We've seen her on WWE programming. We've seen her in the Royal Rumble before. What are they going to do to make this one different? That's the most important question we can ask here, is we've already seen this surprise before. So what are you going to do to make this one different? And I think that's why you got to start off with a major program. So I'm super geeked about it, super excited to see what happens. And as you guys know, I will always speak highly of Jordynne Grace. So congrats to her. And that brings us to our final topic. Triple H and the WWE have some contract issues with somebody. Multiple people have come out and reported this. PWInsider.com, Pro Wrestling Nexus. They've both come out with variations of the story that essentially Alexa Bliss was expected to return a couple of weeks ago at Raw on San Jose. They were told that a storyline involving the Wyatt Six was pitched as part of her return. However, before the event, creative was told to drop all plans for Alexa Bliss. The faction was moved to SmackDown, but obviously they haven't appeared on there yet. The future creative plans for them going forward will now be independent of anything related to Alexa Bliss. Basically, a source believes that it may be a contract issue, although it is not 100% confirmed. She is still under an older deal before she took time off from the WWE to have a child. She's not in any creative pitches for the Royal Rumble. As of right now, WWE is holding off on her return until the contract situation is figured out. This is really crazy because technically speaking, if they can't figure out the contract situation, then she could leave the company. You have to wonder if they will add time to her contract. You have to wonder if WWE is going to be petty like that. I don't think they should be. I think if she does not want to be there, if she does not have any interest in being in the WWE, if she wants to go elsewhere, then WWE should let her go. Don't be like Tony Khan in this situation. If this is a scenario where she wants to be in WWE and WWE wants her, then close the deal, make it happen. Don't add time to her contract, but instead put her on TV as soon as possible. Again, we're talking about needing to freshen things up on the Raw Women's division. There's an area of need, like they have a need for help, and Alexa could obviously help that. She's a fascinating talent, extremely good. Let's not hear about contract issues. Let's get those contract issues. I don't want Triple H to be like Vince McMahon and Tony Khan. If this is a scenario where they want to add time to her contract, I understand why they could, but I don't think they should. If this is a situation where she wants to be there and they want her to be there and they just got to figure it out, then figure it out. If this is a situation where neither wants to work with each other, just let her go. At the end of the day, you don't need to make this a big fuss. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Alexa Bliss, does she stay? Does she go? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching the Ango Show. Boom!